On the 5th anniversary of our marriage, I heard my husband's phone ringtone change into a coquettish recording by one of his students. That night, I accepted his diamond ring proposal in a couple's restaurant only to find photos of him in bed with his mistress buried in a paper attachment. Later, I publicly projected the evidence of his affair during a university lecture, shredding his heroic image. When the earthquake warning sounded, he ran toward his lover and left me standing where I was. I didn't cry or make a scene. I signed the divorce papers and submitted evidence of medical fraud, leaving him disgraced, penniless, and cast out. Our wedding anniversary, I called my husband. Adrian, beep beep, the waiting tone. Then I heard the ring back, not the carrier's default. It was a girl's own recording. Professor's busy right now, please wait just a little bit. The voice was sweet, the kind of sweet that flirts young, no older than 20. I stood in our living room holding my phone. Balloons for our 5th anniversary still floated beneath the ceiling. The cake on the table had frosting piped with the word forever. The ringback played again. Professor's busy right now, please wait just a little bit. Once, twice. I pressed the record button. The call finally connected. Hey honey? Adrian's voice was as gentle as ever. I just wrapped up a lab meeting. I'm about to head home. The background was quiet, too quiet. I heard you changed your ringback, I said. There was a half-second pause on the other end. Ringback? What ringback? He laughed lightly, that easy laugh of his. You know I never mess with that stuff. Probably some promo the carrier's running. Right? My husband was a complete tech idiot. He couldn't even update his phone system. I always did it for him. Maybe, I said. So when will you be home? Half an hour, he said. Love you, love you. I hung up. On my screen, the recording showed as saved. I went upstairs and changed. I chose a red dress, put on lipstick. Then I drove to Adrian's university. I didn't tell him I was coming. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The engineering building. I knew he had a group meeting in room 308 today. I was his wife. I knew his schedule. I went straight to the 3rd floor. The hallway was quiet. The conference room door was closed. I stood outside it. The voice from the ringback echoed in my head again. Professor's busy right now. I grasped the doorknob, pushed it open. Inside, 7 or 8 students were packing up. The projector was still on. Adrian stood by the whiteboard with his back to the door. Next to him stood a girl, long hair, white dress, holding his insulated mug. They were very close. Adrian was talking to her, head lowered, his expression intensely focused, an expression I had never seen before. Then he heard the door and turned around, saw me. His body reacted faster than I expected. He shifted 1 step to the left, blocking the girl behind him. It was instinctive, a protective stance. I saw it all, Claire. Adrian's face switched from surprise to a smile, but the transition was too fast. What are you doing here? He walked toward me, trying to hug me. I took a step back. The girl came out from behind him. She looked even younger than she had sounded on the ringback. Big eyes, with an innocent curve when she looked at people. Hello, professor's wife. She said sweetly, the exact same voice as the ringback. I'm Ivy, the professor's student. We were just discussing my thesis. I accidentally took up too much of the professor's time and almost made him forget your anniversary. I'm really sorry. She bowed, a full 90 degrees, too perfect, perfect like it had been rehearsed. Adrian chimed in smoothly. Yeah. This one has a lot of issues with her paper. Once I start explaining, I lose track of time. He put an arm around my shoulders. I let him. I looked at Ivy. It's fine. Academics come first. Ivy looked up at me, smiled, then she picked up her laptop. Well then, professor's wife, I'll head out. I won't disturb you anymore. She turned and left. At the doorway, she glanced back at me. That look wasn't apologetic. It was appraising, evaluating. The door closed. Adrian immediately began explaining. She's a master's student I'm supervising. Her foundation isn't great, but she works hard. She's rushing to finish her paper, so she's been asking a lot of questions lately. He said it fluently, too fluently. Every excuse made sense. Why would a tech idiot set a ringback? Carrier promotion. Why were they standing so close? Discussing a thesis. Why did he block her? An unconscious reaction. Everything accounted for. No stammering. No gaps. I looked at him, and suddenly I understood. He had rehearsed these explanations countless times, in his head, for every possible moment of interrogation. The ringback wasn't a mistake, it was provocation. And I had received it. Let's go, I said, looping my arm through his and smiling. It's our anniversary. He visibly relaxed. He thought I believed him. In the car, he held my hand. Where do you want to go for dinner tonight? Your call, I said. Let's go to our usual couples restaurant, okay? He smiled gently, just like he had for the past 5 years, the perfect husband. But in my head, that ringback kept looping. Professor's busy right now. Please wait just a little bit. I pulled my hand out of his, pretending to reapply my lipstick. In the rearview mirror, I saw my eyes, cold. The recording was still on my phone. I had evidence now. The game began. The couple's restaurant was called Twilight. We discovered it in our first year of marriage and had come every anniversary since. The waiter recognized us. Mr. Adrian, Ms. Claire, we've kept your usual table. He led us inside, a window seat, but Adrian said wait. He turned to the waiter. Could we switch to the window table on the right? The view's better over there, of course. I stood where I was. The table on the right. We had never sat there before. Adrian moved naturally, pulling out my chair for me. He remembered that this seat had a power outlet. My phone often ran out of battery. He remembered it was far from the AC vent. I hated the cold. He remembered everything too well. So familiar it was as if he came here often. With whom? I didn't ask. Once seated, he ordered food. No need to look at the menu. He named my favorite dishes, even adding, no onions in the salad. She's allergic. The waiter smiled. How thoughtful of you. Adrian held my hand. Only for you? I looked down and smiled. My phone vibrated, an email alert. I opened it. From an unfamiliar sender. Ivy University, Edu, subject. A few questions on thesis revisions requesting professor's wife's guidance. Attached was a PDF. I looked up at Adrian. Your student Ivy just emailed me. He paused mid-cut of his steak. What? She said she wants me to advise on her thesis. Impossible, he laughed. She must have sent it to the wrong person. Ignore it. I opened the attachment. The thesis title was professional. I wasn't clueless. I had a PhD myself. Though I was no longer in academia, I scrolled quickly. There were numerous annotations, all marked under Adrian's account. But the density was abnormal. Page 3 to 13 comments, page 4 to 21 comments, page 5 to 17 comments. Each comment was detailed, some longer than the original text. The logic chain here is broken. Supplement with data. References are outdated. Suggest replacing with 3 recent top journal papers. This phrasing is unclear. Recommend rewriting. Patient to the extreme, meticulous to the extreme. I'd taught before. I knew. This amount of annotation wasn't what a supervisor would do for a student. It was what a man would do for a woman he cared about. How did Adrian correct students' papers in front of me? This isn't good. Rewrite. Wrong format. Do it again. Never a word wasted. Maybe her paper is too poor, so I have to put in extra effort. Adrian said, pouring me some red wine. After all, she's my student. I can't let her fail. Reasonable. Also reasonable. I took a sip of wine, then I kept scrolling. At the last page, a photo suddenly dropped out of the PDF. It automatically downloaded to my gallery. I opened it. Ivy in a pink bunny onesie, sitting on a bed, hugging a pillow. The background was a hotel room. She was pouting at the camera. Above the photo was a line of text from a chat screenshot. Your wife won't find out, right? Time stamp. 2:14 a.m. Last night, for a moment, my blood froze. But I didn't move. I didn't smash my glass. I didn't stand up. I turned off the phone screen. Looked up at Adrian. He was still cutting steak, graceful as ever. Why aren't you eating? He asked. Tired, I said. Finish quickly and get some rest at home. He held my hand. Tonight I'll stay with you. I looked at the wedding ring on his ring finger, matching mine. He had said he would never take it off. The ring was still there, but half of him was gone, or rather, he had left long ago. I just hadn't realized it. Adrian, I called. Do you still love me? He froze for a moment, then chuckled. Of course I do. Why suddenly ask? He put down his knife and fork, pulled a small box from his pocket, kneeled on one knee, right in the middle of the restaurant. Everyone was watching. The waiter started clapping. He opened the box. A new diamond ring, much bigger than our wedding bands. Happy 5th anniversary, my princess, he said, eyes shining. Here's to many more. Everyone was envious. People were taking photos. So romantic. That man is so handsome. His wife is so lucky. I looked at him kneeling and felt a chill right down to my bones. This man, sending a student your wife won't find out, while kneeling here, presenting me a diamond. Both were true. Both were lies. The romance was performance. The affair was performance. So what was I? The audience? I held out my hand. Let him put the ring on me. The diamond was huge, dazzling. Thank you, I said. I love it. He stood and kissed me. I accepted. Then I lowered my head and cut my steak, chopping all my emotions into small pieces, swallowing them. No scene, no tears, no forgiveness. But I would retaliate, not now, systematically, completely, devastatingly. Halfway through dinner, Adrian's phone rang. He glanced, dismissed it. Student, he explained. Always bothering me late at night, I said. What if it's urgent? Nothing's more important than being with you. 30 seconds later, the phone rang again. This time he answered. Hello? His voice lowered. Now, I'm outside. Thesis problem again? Hold on. He looked at me. Conflicted, I smiled. Go ahead. Student matters can't wait. But it's our anniversary, it's fine. I cut a piece of steak. I'll wait for you. He hesitated 3 seconds. Then stood. I'll be right back. Just step outside and make the call. He left the restaurant with his phone in hand. Fast steps. I continued eating steak, drinking wine, watching the night view through the window. The restaurant now had only me at the two-person table. The waiter came over. Ma'am, shall I keep your husband's meal warm? No, I said. He might not be coming back. The waiter's eyes showed sympathy. He thought I'd been stood up. He had no idea. I was the one who let him wait. 20 minutes later, Adrian returned, holding a single rose. I'm so sorry. He handed it to me. The student had a meltdown, said she couldn't finish her thesis and threatened suicide. I calmed her down. The rose was fresh, but the wrapping had a lipstick mark, light pink, different from the red I wore. I took the rose without looking at the mark. She okay? I asked. Temporarily stabilized. He sat down, loosening his tie. At the collar, a complete lip print, light pink, contrasting sharply against his white shirt. He didn't notice at all because while comforting her, she had hugged him, or maybe he had hugged her. I set the rose down. Adrian, I'm not feeling very well. Can you drive? Of course. He stood up immediately. Did you get chilled? We paid and left. Out in the parking lot, he naturally took the driver's seat. I sat in the passenger seat. 10 minutes into the drive, while waiting at a red light, his phone lit up again. A message from Ivy popped onto the screen. Professor, I'm still really scared. Could you stay and talk to me a bit longer? He didn't reply, but his fingers tapped lightly on the steering wheel. That was his tell when he was anxious. I closed my eyes, pretended to fall asleep, then, shielded by the seat, I took out my phone and typed. I messaged my best friend, Rachel. She was a divorce lawyer. I want a divorce. Starting now, I'm collecting evidence. See you tomorrow. Rachel replied instantly. Send me the address. I can be at your place tonight. Then 3 words. Finally, I put my phone away. The car kept moving. Adrian turned on the music. The song from our wedding. He hummed along, so gentle. I opened my eyes and looked out the window. City neon lights streaked past. Then I saw a huge video playing on a mall's outdoor screen. It was from our college days. In the video, Adrian was proposing to me on campus. People around us were cheering. The headline read, Internet famous professor couple celebrates 5 years love still as strong as ever. The video had been filmed last week for the university's publicity. Back then, I'd smiled so sweetly. Now, looking at myself on that screen, I felt nothing but distance. That girl who believed in love, she was dead, and the man who killed her was sitting right beside me. Humming softly, I closed my eyes. Let the tears fall, not from sadness, from rage. And rage is the best fuel there is. As we drove into our residential complex, Adrian's phone rang again. This time, it was a university administrator. He answered, Director Wang. Yes, celebrating with my wife. What? That interview? He glanced at me and covered the mic. Campus media wants to do a 5-year anniversary interview. Is now okay? You decide, I said. He hesitated, then said into the phone. Then we'll do a video call once we're home. Okay. In 20 minutes, after hanging up, he said, the university wants to promote us as a model couple. It's good for both of us. I smiled. Yeah, model couple. I'd heard those words for 5 years. Everyone knew Adrian as the heroic professor. 3 years ago, there was an earthquake in a U.S. city. He'd been there leading an exchange group when it happened. He rescued a child trapped under the rubble. It made the news. He was commended. He became a moral exemplar, and our marriage became part of his image. The heroic professor and his devoted wife. What a perfect story. But no one knew I was there too. I hadn't gone for the exchange, I'd gone to be with him when the earthquake hit. We were in different buildings. I was trapped for 4 hours, darkness, pressure, no air. Adrian was rescuing that child. He didn't know where I was. Later, when I was dug out by rescue workers and taken to the hospital, he came to see me and cried as he held me. I'm sorry, he said. I couldn't find you right away, I told him. You saved someone, that's enough. I meant it. Back then, I still loved him. I thought he was great, but now I understood. Hero was his label, and my PTSD, my fear they were just background scenery. Everyone said, your husband is amazing. No one ever asked, how did you survive those 4 hours? Our marriage became his moral capital. I became his accessory. The car pulled into the garage. Adrian got out first and came around to open my door. Watch your head, he said, holding a hand over the doorframe. Perfect attention to detail. Once, it would have moved me. Now it made me want to throw up. Upstairs, inside the apartment, the balloons were still floating. The cake was still on the table. The word forever had started to melt. Like our marriage, Adrian went into his study to prepare for the video interview. I went into the bedroom and locked the door, turned on my laptop, searched for news reports about the earthquake 3 years ago, carefully checked the timeline. Earthquake. 2:47 p.m. Adrian rescues the child. 3:20 p.m. I am rescued. 6:15 p.m. 3 hours in between. 3 hours when he was giving media interviews. Holding that child for photos while I was in the dark. Thinking I was going to die at the time, I told myself it was an accident. He couldn't be into places at once. But now I wanted to know if he'd known it was me trapped underneath. Who would he have saved first? I didn't have an answer, but the question itself said everything. I closed the browser, opened my phone gallery, looked at the photo of Ivy in the pink bunny pajamas, looked at the line. Your wife won't find out, right? Then I opened the audio file, played the ringback tone. Professor's busy right now. Please wait just a little bit. I listened to it 10 times until every syllable was carved into my brain. Outside the door, Adrian called. Claire, the interview's about to start. Coming. I stood up and fixed my makeup. The woman in the mirror had red eyes. I pressed ice against them, then I smiled, the standard wife smile. I walked out and sat beside Adrian. The camera turned on. The reporter appeared on screen. Professor Adrian, Ms. Claire, congratulations on 5 years. First question. What's the secret to keeping your love fresh? Adrian put an arm around my shoulders. Mutual understanding and support, he said. Especially Claire, she's always been my strongest support. He turned to me, eyes full of affection. I smiled at the camera. He's worth it. The interview lasted 20 minutes, all scripted. At the end, the reporter said, I really envy you. I hope I can find love like this someday. Adrian replied, you will. Then the camera shut off. He dropped his arm from my shoulders, went to pour himself some water. Didn't ask if I wanted any. I sat on the couch, watching his back. Heroic professor, model husband. Those 2 labels were his best armor. To tear them off would take a force greater than an earthquake. And I already had a plan. After the interview, Adrian said he was tired and wanted to sleep early. We lay on the same bed, back to back. There was enough space between us for another person. 1 a.m. His phone on the nightstand lit up. I pretended to be asleep. He picked it up, muted it. But the glow of the screen flickered across the ceiling. Again and again, I put the rose down. Adrian? I'm feeling a little unwell. Can you drive? Of course. He stood immediately. Did you catch a chill? We settled the bill and left. Out in the parking lot, he naturally got into the driver's seat. I sat in the passenger seat. 10 minutes into the drive, at a red light, his phone lit up again. A message from Ivy appeared. Professor, I'm still so scared. Could you stay and talk to me a little longer? He didn't reply, but his fingers tapped lightly on the steering wheel. It was his anxious habit. I closed my eyes, pretended to sleep, then, shielded by the seat, I took out my phone and typed. Messaged my best friend, Rachel. She was a divorce lawyer. I want a divorce. Starting now, I'm collecting evidence. See you tomorrow. Rachel replied instantly. Send me the address. I can be at your place tonight. Then 3 words. Finally, I put the phone away. The car kept moving. Adrian turned on music, the song from our wedding. He hummed along, so gentle. I opened my eyes and looked out the window. City neon lights streaked past. Then I saw it, a huge video on a mall screen from our college days. In the video, Adrian was proposing to me on campus. People around us cheered. The headline read, "Internet famous professor couple celebrates 5 years love still as strong as ever." The video had been filmed last week for the university's publicity. Back then, I had smiled so sweetly. Now, looking at that girl on the screen, I felt nothing but estrangement. The girl who believed in love, she was gone, and the man who killed her was humming next to me. I closed my eyes. Let the tears fall, not from sorrow, from rage, and rage is the best fuel. As the car entered our complex, Adrian's phone rang again. This time it was a university administrator. He answered, "Director Wang." "Yes, celebrating with my wife." "What? That interview?" He glanced at me and covered the mic. "Campus media wants a 5-year anniversary interview. Is now convenient?" "You decide," I said. He hesitated. "Shall we do a video call at home?" "Okay." 20 minutes after hanging up, he said, "The university wants to promote us as a model couple. Good for both of us." I smiled. Yeah, model couple. I had heard those words for 5 years. Everyone knew Adrian as the heroic professor. 3 years ago, an earthquake hit a U.S. city. He was there leading an exchange group. He rescued a child trapped under rubble. The news reported it. He was commended. He became a moral exemplar, and our marriage became part of his image. The heroic professor and his devoted wife. What a perfect story. But no one knew I was there too. I hadn't come for the exchange. I came to be with him. When the earthquake struck, we were in separate buildings. I was trapped for 4 hours. Dark, pressurized, breathless. Adrian was saving that child. He didn't know where I was. Later, when the rescue team dug me out and brought me to the hospital, he came, holding me and crying. "I'm sorry," he said. "I couldn't find you right away." I told him, "You saved a life, that's enough." I meant it. Back then, I still loved him. I thought he was great, but now I understood. Hero was his label. My PTSD, my fear, they were just background scenery. Everyone said, "Your husband is amazing." No one asked, "How did you survive those 4 hours?" Our marriage became his moral capital. I became his accessory. The car pulled into the garage. Adrian got out first and came around to open my door. "Watch your head," he said, hand over the frame. Perfect attention to detail. Once, I would have been moved. Now, I felt only disgust. Upstairs, inside the apartment, the balloons still floated. The cake was still on the table. The word forever had started to melt. Like our marriage, Adrian went into the study to prepare for the video interview. I went to the bedroom and locked the door, turned on my laptop, searched news reports of the earthquake 3 years ago, carefully examined the timeline. Earthquake, 2:47 p.m. Adrian rescues the child. 3:20 p.m. I am rescued. 6:15 p.m. 3 hours in between. 3 hours when he was giving media interviews, holding the child for photos, while I was in the dark, thinking I might die. At the time, I called it an accident. He couldn't be into places at once. But now I wanted to know, if he had known it was me trapped below, who would he have saved first? I had no answer, but the question itself said everything. I closed the browser, opened my phone gallery, looked at Ivy in the pink bunny pajamas, read the line, "Your wife won't find out, right?" Then I opened the audio file, played the ring back. "Professor's busy right now. Please wait just a little bit." I listened 10 times, until every syllable was etched into my mind. Outside, Adrian called. "Claire, the interview's about to start. Coming." I stood and touched up my makeup. The woman in the mirror had red eyes. I pressed ice against them. Then I smiled, the standard wife smile, walked out and sat beside Adrian. The camera turned on. The reporter asked, "Professor Adrian, Ms. Claire, congratulations on 5 years. First question, what's the secret to keeping your love fresh?" Adrian put an arm around my shoulders. "Mutual understanding and support," he said. "Especially Claire, she's always been my strongest support." He looked at me with deep affection. I smiled at the camera. "He's worth it." The interview lasted 20 minutes, all scripted. At the end, the reporter said, "I really envy you. I hope I can find love like this someday." Adrian replied, "You will." Then the camera shut off. He let go of my shoulder, went to pour water, didn't ask if I wanted any. I sat on the couch, watching his back. Heroic professor, model husband. Those labels were his best armor. To tear them away would require a force greater than an earthquake. And I already had a plan. After the interview, Adrian said he was tired and wanted to sleep early. We lay on the same bed, back to back. Enough space between us for another person. 1 a.m. His phone lit up on the nightstand. I pretended to be asleep. He picked it up, muted it. But the screen's glow flickered across the ceiling, again and again. 10 minutes later, he got up quietly, went to the bathroom. I heard him speaking softly, "Don't cry. Now's not a good time. Tomorrow, okay?" Pause. "I know today is your birthday, but it's my wedding anniversary today." Another pause. "Okay, don't run off. I'll be there soon." Water ran. He came out, walked to the bed, leaned over me. I kept my eyes closed, breathing evenly. He kissed my forehead, lightly, then he changed clothes, grabbed his car keys, paused at the door, came back and left a note on the nightstand. "Buddy got too drunk. I'm going to pick him up. Be back soon." The door closed gently. I opened my eyes. The room was dark, only moonlight. I picked up the note. Buddy got drunk. Even his lies were sloppy. I got out of bed, walked to the window, saw his car leaving the complex. Tail lights disappeared around the corner. I didn't cry, didn't throw anything, not even anger, only a cold clarity, like finally confirming you were abandoned long ago today. You just got the notification. The first abandonment. Emotions, he fell in love with someone else. The second abandonment, survival, he chose to go find her in the middle of the night, leaving me alone on our anniversary. If the house had caught fire now, who would he have saved first? The answer had already been given. I returned to the bed, took out my phone, messaged Rachel. He just left. Going to see her, excuse. Buddy got drunk. Rachel replied, "Got it. I've prepared the preliminary plan. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. usual place." Then she sent another. "Are you okay?" I thought, then replied, "Better than ever," because I no longer had to lie to myself. I opened my laptop, logged into Adrian's cloud account. Password, our wedding anniversary. He never changed it. I found a hidden folder, named Thesis Backup, opened it. Inside weren't thesis files, screenshots of chats, photos, hotel booking information. I went through them one by one, like performing an autopsy on my marriage. The earliest was 8 months ago. Ivy, "Professor, I didn't understand the theory you explained in class today. Could I ask you privately?" He replied, "Of course, my office is always open." The latest. Last night, Ivy in the pink bunny pajamas. His reply, "She won't find out." I spent 2 full hours going through it. By the time I finished, dawn was breaking. Adrian still hadn't returned. I closed the laptop, cleared the browsing history, laid back down, closed my eyes. This time, I truly slept. No dreams, only calm. Because I knew, from today onward, the choice was back in my hands, and he would no longer have the chance to choose me. The next morning, 7 a.m., Adrian returned. He brought breakfast, fried dough sticks and soy milk, my favorite combination. "Sorry," he said, guilty. "That guy was completely wasted last night. I took him home and fell asleep myself." "Didn't wake you, did I?" I said, "No, I slept well." He sighed in relief and hugged me. "My wife is the best." He smelled different. A sweet, cloying, girlish perfume, completely unlike my woody scent. I didn't push him away, because the act had to continue. "What's the plan for today?" I asked. "Morning meeting at the university, then afternoon experiments with students." He kissed my forehead. "I'll be back tonight for our anniversary celebration, okay?" He finished breakfast, changed and left. At the door, he looked back at me. "You look well today." I smiled, because I slept well. The door closed. The smile faded. 9:30 a.m. I left, to meet Rachel, a private room in a cafe. She slid a stack of files across the table. I reviewed the chat logs, enough to start. "But we need more physical evidence. Hotel records, transfer records, joint travel records. Can you get them?" I said, "Yes." "Also," Rachel said, looking at me, "you have considerable shared assets. The house is in his name, but your contributions to the mortgage are claimable. Investment accounts are joint, but he controls them. You need to track the flow of funds before he notices." I nodded. Rachel took my hand. "Claire, this isn't small. If the divorce goes to court, he'll use every method to discredit you. Especially his heroic image. The public will side with him." "I know. Are you ready to face that?" I looked at her. "I'm ready, more than ready." Rachel smiled. "Good. Let's do it. We strategized for 2 hours. At noon, I returned home, opened my laptop, and continued digging through the hidden folder. This time, I found more. A chat screenshot. Ivy, will your wife check your phone? Adrian, she won't. She trusts me, Ivy. Good, but she doesn't seem to bother dressing up much anymore. Aren't you ashamed to take her out? Adrian, she's like that. She's used to it. Another snippet. Ivy, what if she finds out? Adrian, if she does, so be it. Divorce is the worst case, but she won't. She has no job. She depends on me. Every word felt like a knife. I didn't cry, I just screenshot, sorted, and marked a timeline. Then I found another folder, medical, opened it. My medical records, 3 years ago, post-earthquake diagnosis, PTSD, recommended therapy, and a surgical consent form. I squinted. It was for a nude insertion, date, 5 years ago, just after we married, patient signature, my name, but the handwriting wasn't mine, family signature, Adrian's. I had never known I had a nude. I had never signed such a consent form. The phone rang. Adrian was calling. I answered. Hello? Hey honey, my afternoon lab is canceled. I'm heading home. Want me to bring you something to eat? His voice was so gentle. I held the phone, staring at the forged consent form on my screen. I want the pan-fried buns from that place in Chengnan, I said. Got it. I'll get them. Be home in half an hour. He hung up. I quickly took screenshots, bundled all the medical files, and sent them to Rachel. Then I closed my laptop, sat on the sofa, waited. Half an hour later, Adrian came in, carrying the pan-fried buns, still warm. He smiled. I walked over and took the bag. Then I hugged him. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing. I buried my face in his chest. It's just, I suddenly feel like I don't know you at all. His body stiffened for a moment. Then he patted my back. Silly wife, we've been together for 5 years. How could you not know me? I didn't say a word. I just held him tighter, because this was the last time I would hug him. From today on, touching him felt dirty. That afternoon, Adrian worked from home. I was in the kitchen, cutting fruit, honey. He called. Next week I have an important lecture. University leaders will attend. Would you like to be a guest? I carried a bowl of fruit over. What kind of lecture? Unethical reflections of earthquake rescue. His eyes gleamed. I'll use the old case to talk about the limits of heroism. I picked up a slice of apple and fed it to him. Sure, I'll come. He smiled. With you there, I won't be nervous. I watched him, and thought, if he knew that I knew everything, could he still smile like that? But I wasn't in a hurry. I would tear his mask off on the biggest stage possible. The next day, I went to the hospital, gynecology department. I want to have my uterus checked. I told the doctor. The doctor pulled up my file. You had it inserted 5 years ago. Technically, it should have been replaced. But you never came for a follow-up. I forgot, I said. The examination was quick. The ultrasound showed the uterus was still in place. Position is fine, but it's overdue, the doctor said. I recommend removal or replacement. Didn't your husband remind you? I looked at her. My husband? Yes. He came with you at the time and signed the consent form. She flipped through the records. See? Here's the consent form. She turned the screen toward me, exactly the same as what I saw on Adrian's computer. The signature was forged. When I said I wanted the uterus, why did you agree? I asked. The doctor paused. Your husband said you two didn't want a child yet, and you were worried about side effects from medication, so you chose the uterus. Don't you remember? I remember, I said. I just wanted to confirm. I walked out to the hospital corridor, sat on a bench. Sunlight poured in through the windows. Warm, but I shivered. Cold all the way to my bones. 5 years. I thought we just hadn't conceived. I thought it was my problem. I took herbal medicine, did health regimens, even considered IVF. Every time, Adrian said, no rush, we'll take it slow, having you is enough. But he had already cut off the path forward. He didn't want children, but he never said it. He forged my signature, put in the uterus, and watched me blame myself, watch me try, watch me feel guilty. This was control, deception, murder of my dream of being a mother. I sat there for a full hour. Then I stood and went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror. My eyes were red, but no tears, because I had cried them all already. Now, only the decision remained. I took out my phone and called Rachel. Medical fraud. Can we sue? Her voice was cold. Forging medical documents. Performing surgery without consent, that's a criminal offense. Of course we can. Add it to the case. You okay? I'm fine, I said. Better than ever. I hung up, stepped out of the hospital. The sunlight was blinding. I put on sunglasses. Then I received a message from Adrian. The lecture is set. Next Wednesday, 2 p.m. University Auditorium. I'll reserve the front row for you. I replied. I'll be there, because that day, I would give him a gift worthy of 5 years of his deception, on the day of the lecture. I wore a red dress, full makeup, when Adrian saw me. His eyes lit up. You look beautiful today. I linked my arm with his. Here to support you. The auditorium was full. Students, teachers, media, and university leaders. Adrian was a star professor. Hero story plus academic achievements. He had fans. We sat in the front row. Speeches from the leaders. Then Adrian took the stage. He looked sharp in a suit, confident, spoke about earthquake rescue, ethical dilemmas, heroes being human, applause throughout. Midway, a side door opened. Ivy walked in, white dress, innocent-looking student, sat in the last row. But she kept looking at me. Her gaze was provocative. I smiled in response. Then I held up my phone, waving it slightly at her. Her expression changed, because last night, I had sent her an anonymous message. Don't miss today's lecture. It's going to be good. Attached, a candid photo of her and Adrian at the hotel entrance. Now she was here. The show was about to start. Adrian finished his lecture. Thunderous applause. The host. Now we enter the Q&A session. First question gentle. Second question gentle too. Third question, a student asked, Professor, when you were rescuing people back then, did you ever worry about your own safety? Adrian, no time to think, instinct took over. The audience was moved. Then I raised my hand. The host saw me and smiled. Looks like the professor's wife has a question too. The microphone was handed to me. I stood, turned to face the audience, then walked onto the stage. Adrian froze. Claire? I took the microphone from him. Hello everyone. I'm Adrian's wife, Claire, my voice steady, projecting across the hall. I'm not here to ask a question today. I'm here to show you something. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the projector. Adrian tried to stop me, but it was too late. On the big screen appeared the first image. Pink bunny pajamas. Your wife won't find out, right? The audience gasped. Adrian's face went pale. What is this? Claire, listen to me. No explanation needed. I switched to the next image. Hotel booking records. Time, place, room number, next. Screenshots of chats. She won't find out. She won't dare divorce me. She depends on me. One by one, like torture, the audience went from silence to chaos. People snapping photos, recording videos, journalists pushing forward, excited. Adrian grabbed my wrist. Are you crazy? Stop. I shrugged him off. Looked toward the back row. Ivy stood there, pale as a ghost. The girl in the white dress is Ivy, Professor Adrian's student, I said into the microphone. She is also the person he's having an affair with. All cameras turned to her. She screamed, You're lying. Let the evidence speak, I said. I switched to the final image. The U'd consent form, forged signatures. 5 years ago, my husband forged my signature to place in U'd without my knowledge. He made me think I was infertile, causing me to blame myself for 5 years. The auditorium went completely silent, then erupted. Oh my God, this is a crime. Hero professor? More like a fraud. Adrian stood on stage, looking like his soul had been sucked out. He looked at me, lips trembling. Why are you doing this? I leaned close, voice only for him, because you don't deserve forgiveness. Then I turned to the audience. I announced that I am divorcing Adrian, today, right now, this moment. The crowd exploded, and then, the auditorium alarm blared, high-pitched, piercing. The PA system crackled with an urgent announcement, earthquake warning. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat. This is not a drill. The audience froze for a second. Then panic broke out. People surged for the exits. Screams filled the air. Adrian stood on the stage, looking at me, then at Ivy in the back. She was pushed down in the crowd crying, Professor, help me. Time seemed to slow. 3 years ago, the earthquake replayed. He had to make a choice, and I already knew the answer. The crowd surged like a tide. Screams, pushing, crying, chandeliers swayed. Dust fell from the ceiling. Adrian stood 3 meters from me, 20 meters from Ivy. He looked at me, then at her. 3 seconds, first second. He reached for me. Claire, get out. Second. Ivy cried, Professor. I twisted my ankle. Help me. Third second. He ran toward her, without hesitation, just like 3 years ago, when he ran to save that trapped child. The hero instinct, only this time, the one trapped was not a stranger child, it was his lover. And his wife stood on stage, watching him run toward another woman. I did not move. Watched his back disappear into the chaos. The alarm still blared, lights flickered. I suddenly felt suffocated, like being back in the ruins 3 years ago. Darkness, confinement, unable to breathe. I crouched, hugging myself. Then someone grabbed my arm. Get up, move, a man's voice. I didn't know him. He pulled me forcefully, dragging me toward a side door. I'm a doctor. Follow me. He was strong. I was dragged through the chaotic crowd, out of the auditorium, into the open playground. Many people had already gathered. The earthquake continued. The ground shook. Not violently. High alert, moderate tremor. The man released me, panting. You okay? I looked at him, mid-30s, glasses, lab coat over casual clothes. ID badge. Ethan, University Hospital, Psychiatry. I've seen you before, he said. 3 years ago, after the earthquake. You came to our department for a consultation, never returned after that. I froze. I don't remember. Normal, trauma memory is often fuzzy, he said, but your symptoms just now were PTSD flare-ups. You need help. I turned toward the auditorium exit. The crowd was still streaming out. Then I saw Adrian. He carried Ivy, running out the main doors. She clung to his neck, face buried in his chest. He set her down safely, crouched to check her ankle, gentle, focused, just like when he saved that child. Then he suddenly realized something, looked around frantically. He was searching for me. When he saw me, his expression relaxed, but the next second, he saw Ethan next to me. His expression changed, from concern, to suspicion, to anger. He started walking toward me, but at that moment, a loud crash came from the auditorium. Part of the outer wall collapsed. Smoke filled the air. Everyone screamed. Adrian froze. Ivy cried again. Professor, I'm scared. He hesitated for a second, then turned back to her, held her. I stood there, watching. Ethan gently said beside me, do you want me to take you out of here? Yes, I said. We turned and walked toward the university hospital. Behind us, alarms, screaming, and the sound of collapsing walls mixed together. But those sounds felt distant, because my heart was completely calm as if dead, yet also as if finally alive. The hospital was crowded with lightly injured people. Ethan poured me a cup of hot water. Your husband. He hesitated. He's about to be my ex-husband, I said. He nodded, didn't ask more. My phone rang. Rachel, I just saw the news. Are you okay? I'm fine. At the hospital. And Adrian? Taking care of his student. Rachel paused for 2 seconds. Good, perfect timing. Media is all on site. The photo of him holding that student is already trending. I opened social media. Top trending. Hero Profesabathians? Caption. During today's lecture earthquake, social media famous Professor Adrian exposed by his wife for affair. Abandons wife to save female student. Hero image collapses. Comments exploded. Oh my god. Even TV dramas wouldn't dare. So the hero is just a persona? That student must be the mistress, right? The wife is so tragic, betrayed publicly, abandoned during an earthquake. Did anyone else notice that doctor is really hot? I closed my phone. Ethan said, you need to rest. I can prescribe you a sedative. No, I stood. I'm going back to see. It's still chaotic over there, I know. I left the university hospital, returned to the area near the auditorium. The scene was cordoned off. Rescue workers were clearing collapsed sections. The media clustered outside. Then I saw Adrian, at the edge of the rubble. He was moving stones with his bare hands. Blood covered them. Reporters were filming him. He was crying, yelling at the camera. Claire, where are you? I'm sorry. Please come out. He was acting, playing the part of a grief-stricken, regretful husband. But I knew he wasn't crying for me. He was crying for his shattered image, for the reputation he'd lost, for the future that had been ruined. Ivy sat nearby, surrounded by medical staff. She cried too, but no one paid her attention. Now, she was just the other woman, a piece of the scandal. Adrian dug for a long time, until the rescue team leader held him back. Sir, we've scanned the area, no signs of life. Your wife has likely been safely evacuated. Adrian shook his head. No, she has to be in there. I have to find her. He kept digging. Then he really did find something. A red silk scarf. The one I had worn today, dropped in the chaos. He picked it up, held it to his chest, and wailed. The cameras focused on him, live broadcast. The whole internet watched him cry. I was wrong. Claire, please come back. Perfect performance. But I knew, if he truly thought I was inside, he wouldn't have waited until now to search. He was doing it after the public outcry, repenting, for the public, not for me. I watched this scene and felt amused. Then I turned and walked away, didn't look back. The show was over. Time to close the net. 3 days later, the public opinion had fully reversed. Adrian's hero label was stripped. The university announced his suspension and investigation. Ivy's past surfaced academic misconduct, seducing her advisor, and she was expelled. And I, in the public eye, was a missing, possibly earthquake-stricken victim. Rachel's office. Adrian sat across from me, thinner, eyes sunken. Claire, his voice hoarse. You're okay. Thank God. I said nothing. Rachel pushed the divorce papers toward him. Sign here. Property division is outlined. House to Claire. All investment accounts to Claire. 70% of your personal savings to Claire. Considering the medical fraud and affair evidence. This is fair. Adrian didn't look at the papers. He looked at me. I don't want a divorce. Give me another chance. I love you. I smiled, for the first time, coldly, without warmth. Adrian, what do you love about me? That I'm gullible? That I cooked for you while you cheated? That I upheld your image for 5 years? He shook his head. No. What is it then? I interrupted. That I cooked for you while you had an affair? Or that I let you forge my signature for a nude? His face went pale. I didn't know it was forged. The hospital made a mistake. Then why didn't you tell me? Why make me blame myself for 5 years? He had no answer, because the truth was too dirty even for him to face. Rachel tapped the table. Sign, or see you in court. Medical fraud is a criminal offense. I can have you jailed. Adrian's hands shook as he picked up the pen. He looked at me one last time. You really don't love me at all? I looked into his eyes. I never knew the real you. How could I love you? He closed his eyes, signed, then stood, tried to hug me. Rachel blocked him. Don't touch her. You're not worthy. He left, stooped. Like 10 years older, Rachel put the papers away. Congratulations, you're free. I looked out the window, sunlight bright, cars moving along the streets. The world keeps turning. And my world is finally quiet. 3 months later, with Ethan's help, my PTSD improved. I found a new job at a nonprofit, helping earthquake survivors. Occasionally I saw news about Adrian. He left the university, moved to another city, working as a regular engineer. Ivy went back to her hometown. No further news. His hero story became a cautionary tale, our marriage, a warning case. One day, Ethan invited me to lunch. You look good now, he said, because I'm finally being myself. He hesitated. If one day you want a new relationship, I shook my head. Not now, maybe never, because he hurt you too much. No, I cut my steak, because I now know love isn't everything. Freedom is. He nodded. Didn't press further. After lunch, I went home alone, passing my old university. The auditorium had been repaired. New lecture posters were up. I stood there, staring, then turned and walked away. My phone rang. Rachel? The last procedures are done. He's out. All academic misconduct results published. Permanently stripped of his position. Thank you. You're welcome. By the way, something I've always wanted to say. What? You not forgiving him was the right choice. Forgiveness is for those who deserve it. He doesn't. I smiled. I know. Hung up. Continued walking. The sunset stretched my shadow long. I was no longer the wife waiting for her husband. No longer the fool who believed in hero stories. I am Claire. Divorced, hurt, but alive, and I will live better. From now on, my life revolves around me, and the man named Adrian, just a disaster from my past, gone, never to return.